Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to today's observance of Autumn Ohigan, whether you are here in person or connected via Zoom. A very special aloha to Reverend Al Urasaki for flying over from Honolulu and braving the vagaries of flight changes to serve as our guest minister and speaker in Reverend Blaine's absence. Reverend Blaine is in LA, having been invited to participate in the launch of an event called Irie, National Monument for the World War II Japanese American Incarceration. As Reverend Blaine explained in his email, Ohigan occurs twice a year, around the spring and the fall equinox, when the daylight and the nighttime are equal. In many ancient cultures, this is a time of celebration to remind us of our deep connection to the rhythms and cycles of the earth and the entire universe. Ohigan translates as the other shore, and is a metaphor for crossing from this shore of ignorance, anger, and greed to the other shore of nirvana and peace. We should find spiritual balance by relying on the Buddha's teachings as we make our way in this often chaotic world. I am Joey Guzman, and I will serve as your MC today. Those of you zooming in, let me remind you to please mute your mics during the entire service unless you have a speaking part. Those of you attending in person, you may chant and sing while keeping your masks on. Assisting at the temple with technical support are Alan Matsumoto, Darren and Lynn Katayama, and Russell Nishihara. Corinne Chong is our organist, and Betty Takioka will lead the singing. Please rise and let us start the service with the Vandana and Tisarana, led by Reverend Al. Again, those of you zooming in, please be sure you have muted your mics, and please chant both the Pali and English version parts together with Reverend Al.
Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please remain standing as Reverend Al will now share an aspiration.
From the Honpa Honganji service book. This is our teaching. Attaining the trusting heart, awakening to the compassion of Amida Tathagata through the working of the primal vow, we shall walk the path of life, reaching Amida's name at the end of life will be born into the Pure Land and attain Buddhahood, returning at once to this delusional world to guide people to awakening. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
You may be seated. It is now time for offering of incense. We invite all Sangha members in attendance to please come up and offer incense if you wish, starting with the front rows and moving towards the back. Please use both incense burners. Let us now observe a moment of silent meditation.
As we begin our silent meditation, I'll ask you to think in your minds and heart of what you are grateful for, what you are thankful in this life. Namo Amidams, Namo Amidams, Namo Amidams. Amidams.
Reverend Al will now lead us in chanting the Sutra Jusei-ge. Words can be found on page 54 in the Jodo Shinshu service book and on your screen. Again, page 54 in the Jodo Shinshu service book.
Gagon Choseigan Hishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzong Seifu Joshogan Gao Muryoko Fui Dai Seishu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshogan Kashi Jobutsudo Myosho Chojippo Kukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshogan Ryokujin Shounen Joeshu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Teninshi Jining and Daigo Fusho Musaido Shoujo San Kumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaichi Egen Meshi Komo Am Heisoku Sho Akudo Tsudatsu Zen Shumon Koso Manzong Ioro Jippon Kugyo Mishomon Seibu Jojo Issue 一種解放像公正功読本上大集中説法ししく供養一切分具足種特本元年出場満徳意三概要女仏無下地津脱未不詳感覚エリ投資最小損志願や国家大戦の感動国書天人当地名家ナマンダブナマンダブナマダブナマダブナマダブナマダブがにしくどく平等性祭道発も大心往生安楽Namandavs, namandavs, 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 namandavs.
Please rise for the Gatha, the wondrous gift of peace. Words can be found on page 176 in the Praises of the Buddha and on your screen. Again, page 176 in the Praises of the Buddha.
We move louder in the turmoil of samsara sea. On the boat of
Please be seated. Today's Dharma message will be delivered by guest minister Reverend Al Urasaki, a local boy who was born and raised in Hilo. He attended Hilo High School and the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where he obtained both his BA in communication and master's degree in education. Subsequently, he decided to pursue the Jodo Shinshu ministry and attended the Institute of Buddhist Studies in California. Upon graduation from IBS, Reverend Al went to Japan to receive his tokudo, or minor ordination. He was then assigned as a kaikyoshi ho, or minister's aide at the Hawaii Betsuin, where he did on-the-job training for 1 year. He then returned to Kyoto to receive his kyoshi, and now as a full-fledged minister, served once again at Hawaii Betsuin as an associate minister from 1992 to 1995. In December 1995, Reverend Al was assigned as the resident minister of Aiea Hongwanji, where he remained until 2002. He then left the temple ministry to accept a chaplain position with the Federal Bureau of Prisons at the Federal Detention Center next to the Honolulu Airport. And in doing so, he was the very first Buddhist chaplain in the federal prison system. In January of this year, Reverend Al retired from government service. Reverend Urasaki is a member of Jikoen Temple and volunteers his time to serving as a chaplain with the state sheriffs and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He is married to wife Cheryl and has 2 children, Chase and Kylie. Please give a warm welcoming aloha to Reverend Al Urasaki and his family.
Thank you. Okay, Alan, how you turn this light on? This fangled contraptions. On the cord. Oh, on the cord. Okay. There you go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm so sorry. I forgot my glasses at home. So I kind of got lost all over the place, and you have to, of course, you folks young yet, but when you get old, your eyes don't work too well. So want to thank Reverend Blaine. I want to thank all of you for coming today. It seems like I'm making a kind of a regular thing. I've come maybe the last couple years. And, today, I just want to share with you the story. As I was coming here this morning, getting ready to board the plane, I put my ticket, they have to scan your ticket now in the scanner. So I put my ticket in the scanner and it went, bam. So the guy says, oh, try again. Bam. Say something wrong. So he takes my ticket and he starts looking up things on the computer. And I thought, oh, maybe they didn't upgrade me to first class. But so after he's doing the thing on the ticket, then on his walkie-talkie, you can hear someone talking, kind of sounding kind of like urgent, right? So he's talking, and then after he listening to them, then he tells, well, he's looking at me, but I think he was talking to everybody. Oh, you have to go to gate B1. And at first I thought, oh, am I on the right plane or something, or at the right gate? But what happened was the pilot, I guess for whatever reason, he didn't want to use that plane, or maybe there was something wrong with that plane. So he says to switch everybody. So in a way, good thing we was kind of taking our time in the lounge. So by the time we got to the gate, most of the people boarded already. And so we're lucky. So we just went over to the new gate, and everyone had to come off the plane, and then they had to move the bags, and then we had to get on a new plane. And it's kind of funny, right? Because sometimes, coming to Kona, I'm not sure why, but I always have this this thing about time coming to Kona. And I don't know if you were here maybe 15 years ago. I still have a traumatic incident or PTSD, right, about that. But for those of you who don't know, so I think Reverend Shindo was here, and he invited me to come to speak. And so my kids were small. We stayed at the 5-star Manago Hotel down the road. And then we said, oh, okay, we can, we get time, before a service, so let's go have breakfast. And so we go downstairs, and I ordered the pork chops. And so we get there, we're in there, and it's like, maybe 7:45. And so, we over there having breakfast, and I guess at that time, maybe no one had my cell phone, or maybe cell phones didn't work on other islands or whatever. But so we're just, leisurely having our breakfast, and someone from one of the hotel staff come in and asked, "Are you Reverend Urasaki?" And I said, I'm thinking, oh, how does she know me? Well, I say, oh yes. Well, the people at Kona Honganji are waiting for you for the service. And I look at my watch, it's like 8:30. And I'm like, oh, doesn't the service start at 9 o'clock? But if you know, back then, 15, 20 years ago, what time did service start? So early, right. I think it was 8 o'clock, I think that was started. So, and maybe Sensei told me about that, but anyway. So ever since then, I always have this thing, I gotta be here before service starts. So I always double check. I must have asked Blaine like 3 times what time we're starting. And then this morning I'm texting everybody or sending emails. Oh, my flight is delayed. I'm gonna be late, But anyway, so that's my little drama for today. But so today we come to the temple to observe Ohigan. And as Joey said, Higan, and Blaine said, Reverend Blaine, Higan is observed twice a year, right? During the spring and the fall. And Higan is a kind of a special time for me personally, because my daughter, Kylie, who's not here, she's a Higan baby. I was thinking of naming her, giving her the middle name Higan, because she was born on March 20. So she was born on the spring equinox, right? The spring Higan. And so we observe this spring Higan and fall Higan when the days and nights are equal. There's a kind of a harmony, in the universe, as was said. And in our Japanese temples, in our customs, it was a good time to reflect on our life, because it's hard to think about our life, when it's 95 degrees outside in the middle of the summer, or maybe, well, in Hawaii, it's kind of funny, right? It's not like Japan where you have the different seasons or whatever. But so it's a time when we come to reflect on our life and those things around us. And so traditionally, the Japanese, what they call Mahayana Buddhists, kind of general Buddhist tradition, Jodo Shinshu is part of this Mahayana tradition. We observe as we talk about the 6 paramitas. And so you have the handout with you. So, I made copies for all of you, but I forgot to get me a copy. Oh, thank you. Thanks. And so I just want to talk briefly about what are these 6 paramitas, these 6 perfections that we practice during Higan. And these 6 paramitas or perfections is something that will help us go to the other shore, the Higan, right? To the other shore. And that other shore is what we might call enlightenment or nirvana. The other shore is the Pure Land. The other shore is maybe a much better place than where we are here on this shore. And so I just want to go briefly with you folks through the 6 paramitas. And so, paramita means to cross over from this world of birth and death to the other shore of enlightenment or nirvana. So the first paramita is dana. Well, okay, let's go. So there are 6 paramitas, right? The first is dana, generosity. The second is shila, or self-discipline. The third is shanti, or patience. The fourth is perseverance, or diligence. The fifth is meditation, or dhyana. And then the sixth and the last one is prajna, or wisdom, or understanding. And so if we do these 6 things, or we practice these 6 things, and of course we practice them not just during Higan, or not just today, but really every day, we're doing something in these 6 paramitas. So how can I relate the 6 paramitas, to our daily life? And so the first is dana, generosity. We also call it selfless giving. How many of you have given something to another person, or organization, or to your temple, without that feeling of getting something in return? How many of you have done selfless giving? Raise your hand. Oh, good. I was gonna say, oh, good, nobody. Right? But selfless. So think of a time, right, when you help someone, maybe a homeless person, or a person that needed some kind of help that you could give them, or an organization. Okay, so not just, maybe you might think of, oh, okay, I donate my car to kidney cars. Maybe that'll help somebody. Or I have all these old clothes that my kids don't use anymore, so I'll take it to Goodwill or Salvation Army, and I'll donate them for those kids. And then, or maybe, I have some extra money, so maybe I'll donate my extra money to the Reverend Urasaki Fund. And so those are examples, right, of I don't know if it's selfless giving, but giving in general. So when it becomes selfless is that, we take me, myself, and I out of that equation, right? I don't expect anything in return. So that really must jam up tax accountants, right? Because, your tax accountant will tell you, oh, you gave your car to Kidney Cars. Did you get a receipt? You need that receipt so you can make your deduction off your taxes, right? Is that still selfless giving if you get a receipt for a tax deduction? Or, or some kind of reward or expectation? Even like a simple thing like, okay, you're driving down the highway. So this morning we were coming down Queen K Highway, and then, my son was driving. He's not supposed to, but he was driving the rental car, and so, there's this person in the other lane wanted to, cut in. So he lets that person, he waves and say, okay, go ahead, let them cut in. And so we're waiting for the driver to go like this. And that means, thank you, right? Thanks for letting me come in. But no, nothing. And what do you do? Or what do I do? Well, of course, I didn't say anything, but in my mind, it's like, wow, you ungrateful person, right? Even though this, just a simple act of letting someone cut in or come into your lane, all goes back to myself. And so selfless giving really is something really difficult to do, right? No matter what we do, we might even, even that dollar that you put into Osai-sen or to your offertory, you might wonder, where is my donation going to, right? So you might think. So dana, selfless giving. The second is shila, or self-discipline. We also call it kind of restraint. In Japanese has this term, enryo. How many of you have heard that term, enryo? That means to kind of hold back, right? Hold back. Don't go on your first instinct, right? You kind of hold back and you wait to see what happens. And so there's this old, we're kind of taught from young, or I was, that, when you go to a party or whatever, or a gathering, maybe potluck, everyone brings a plate, a dish, potluck, and then, so maybe you're at a cookout, and there's this one piece of filet mignon that's on the plate. Everyone's eating already, right? And this filet mignon is still there. And you think, oh, I'm still hungry. I want to, maybe I'll enjoy that filet mignon. So I think, oh, maybe I'll get it. But because of self-discipline, right? Shila, this enryo, we hold back. So we have to think, oh, what's that other word? Have you the old maid? I don't know, maybe you folks are too young for that, but old maid is like when you get the last thing, like that game, right? You get the last piece of whatever it is in that card game in the old maid. But that means you're like taking that last piece, that filet mignon. But if you were like Alan Matsumoto, Alan, instead of looking at that filet mignon and say, oh, I'm dying to eat that, Alan will, because of that enryo, he'll hold back, that self-discipline, that restraint. He's going to get the plate and he's going to go to every person. Hey, don't you want this last filet mignon? And he'll ask everybody, don't you want it? It's good, it's tasty, it's ono, And he'll go around and make sure everyone has a chance to get that, be offered that last piece. And only after that, he said, then he'll feel satisfied and say, okay, now I can enjoy that filet mignon because I know everyone, had that chance. If you ever seen Alan at the Yes Camp, for many years, Alan, or I should say Uncle Alan, was there, at Yes Camp helping. And he was, one of the guys in the back in the kitchen, making sure all the kids were fed. So I think that's part of that training that he had. So that's self-discipline. So that's the self-discipline really helps us to think about what we should do, whether it's going to help us or hurt us. Just like for me, when going to the buffet at the Bellagio, do I really want to get the crab legs, the lobster tails, the oysters, knowing that I have gout? And if I do, yeah, what's the consequences, right? You think, oh, I'm going to have this big attack or whatever. So maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll just eat or even the filet mignon might give me gout too. So I guess I'll just eat the tofu, right? The third is patience, or shanti. It enables us to avoid making an ugly scene when things go wrong, or when we or others make mistakes that cannot be helped. It helps us to overcome anger, impatience. Maybe I should borrow one of your glasses. Intolerance, which are disturbing states of mind, and we are able to keep calm in the face of difficulties. It also allows us to help others better because we don't get angry with them when they don't follow our advice make mistakes or speak or act irrationally or give us a hard time. So really, this kind of patience, you imagine yourself working as one of those customer service people at the airline, the ticket counter, having patience with all the customers. And even there's this one lady from this morning who was kind of arguing with the ticket person or the service agent, how she had to get on this flight, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, well, we're still going there. It's the same thing, we're just moving planes. I don't know why she's getting all riled up for. So just to have some patience, right, to see what's going to happen later on. And if we see Lynn is a good example of patience. Because if you're married to Darren, we know how she practices patience every day. The fourth is perseverance, or vidya. Perseverance is the courage not to give up when the going gets tough, but to continue exerting effort consistently to the end. And this, I think, was shown at that the Little League Baseball World Series. You folks watched the Honolulu team in the championship game, and I'm sure all throughout the season and the different games and district and to the regionals and to the World Series, they had this kind of perseverance, even though they were kind of smashing everybody, right, from the beginning. But in that last game, the championship game, they were down, right? They were 1-0, I think, or 2-0, whatever, in that first inning, and the TV announcers were saying, that's the first time that they've been behind. They were losing, at that point, even though it was just the top of the first, or it was the first inning. So, but the coach, Ora, came out and he told the kids, you just keep on playing, keep on going, play your game, don't think about what's going to happen, and just kind of work through, that hardship, that difficulty, and for those kids. And so this kind of perseverance, vidya, gives us strength to finish what we started without getting discouraged. It helps us to overcome feelings of inadequacy or laziness. Maybe when our feelings are down, we can get back up. Just continue to play. That was his encouragement. And so that was, again, and we all know what happened at the end, right? They continued to play their game, and then slowly, they started to get that feeling again, right? And then they won. And so it enables success in accomplishing even the most difficult tasks and stops us from giving up on those things that are hardest to do. So we should practice this perseverance in our life. Don't give up, on things so easily. Nowadays, we do that. And of course, all these apply to my son. So, number 5, meditation or dhyana, concentration. And so like the baseball team, they had to have, keep their concentration, right? Keep their mind, on the game. Don't let it have all these distractions going around about you. And, it's a big thing, right? When you're playing in front of all those fans and people and on TV and, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe millions of people are watching. And so they just needed to do that insight. And so even the coach came out and said, just play your game, play one hit at a time, one inning at a time. Don't have this kind of attitude get in your way. Rely on your training, their practice, what they've been doing. And so I think that helped them, right? This kind of to refocus themselves to play. And lastly is awareness or wisdom, understanding, or prajna. And so prajna is not like enlightenment, this kind of big capital E enlightenment, but it's a kind of a small E enlightenment. Our awareness, that we become aware of things more and more, what goes around us, what's happening around us. And so once we are able to start seeing things or becoming aware of things around us, we kind of change how we view things ourselves. And so this is a kind of a state of mind that differentiates correctly with certainty between what is appropriate and inappropriate, what is correct and incorrect. It allows us to see clearly what to do and how to behave in any kind of particular situation, and it stops us from doing something we'll later regret. And I know, for me anyway, there's a lot of things, that I've done that maybe I regret later on. It also helps us to overcome indecision and confusion, enables us to evaluate the situations of others accurately so we know what to say and do that will benefit us the most. And so these are not like gigantic Buddha goals, right? These are just for us every day to practice. We call it practice in our life, but it's really living in our life. Yeah. In Jodo Shinshu, we don't have a practice per se. It's not like, going to the Zen temple and they practice meditation or zazen, and they, do that, or those kind of things. Our practice is in daily living and what comes to us as a human being. And so these 6 paramitas reminds us of how we express our gratitude in our everyday life. Applying the 6 paramitas is our way of expressing our thanks to Amida. It is not necessary for us to wait until Higan. As I said earlier, to practice, we can do this every day. And so to help us do this every day, look on the back. I hope did it print the backside? You guys have the backside? Okay, just making sure. Sometimes it doesn't print and they'll go like, oh, where did it go? So this is my challenge for you, okay, for the Fall Higan. So I want you to go home, put this on your refrigerator, and today the practice of selfless giving. So sometime today, or you might, maybe tonight, before you go to bed, you might just reflect on the day. And you think, oh, today I practiced dana by donating to the Reverend Urasaki Fund, eating the mochi so Reverend Urasaki won't get fat or something. And then tomorrow, the practice of self-discipline. Tomorrow you think, oh, how did I practice Shila? And you can go ahead and write it. So you have all the way to next Saturday. And so when Sunday comes, next Sunday, Blaine's going to ask you, okay, turn in your forms. And if you fill out all the days, you get extra blessing. You get extra Namo Amida Butsu from Blaine. Anyway, now this is just for you to keep and just try to think about, right? As we keep these in our minds, we're apt to do it more. So just think of it as like, this is your baseball training, right? Baseball practice, right? To be world champions, they didn't just go practice one day and then they went off to the tournament, right? It took hours and hours and days and months of practice. Yeah, not just as a team, but I'm sure even before they became a team, when they were maybe 3, 4 years old, they started playing baseball, right? And I'm sure many of you know that Gerald Oda, the team coach, he always said that it was because of his Buddhist faith and his religious mentor that changed his life and that really led him to this life that he has today. And so because of those things, well, sorry, it's not Jodo Shinchu, but because of these, and these values are the same values that we all as Buddhists espouse, that really helped him to work with his team. So we can too be the world champion Buddhists. Of course, only of Kona. When you go Oahu, then you can be the world champion of Jikoen. But so go home today. Please practice again, not just today, but really every day in our life. And so in closing, let's put our hands together in Gassho for a closing meditation. Namandas. Today I promise to practice these 6 perfections in my life. Perfection of dana, generosity, the perfection of self-discipline, shila, the practice of patience, shanti, the practice of perseverance, vidya, the practice of meditation, dhyana, and the practice of wisdom, prajna. For all these things, give us a grateful heart and mind to Amida Buddha. And for this, we are truly grateful. Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda Butsu. Oh boy, one more thing. As many of you know, we have to get a selfie. That's just to make sure that Blaine knows I was here and not on Zoom. All right. Okay, gang. Oh, wait. Okay, gang, ready? Okay, wave. Wave, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your Ohigan message, Reverend Al. Linda Nagai will now lead us in unison reading of the 6 paramitas. Words can be found on the handouts and on your screen. Please join Linda in reciting the words out loud.
I should have read the script. Didn't have to walk back there. All right, one more time to practice what Reverend Al just said to us. Let's recite together the 6 paramitas. Dana, giving. May I be generous and helpful. Sila, guidance. May I be guided by the Buddhist precepts. Shanti, tolerance. May I regard the mistakes of others with sympathy. Vidya, perseverance. May I do my best in all things. Dana, meditation. May I reflect deeply on my life through the Buddha's teachings. Prajna, insight. May I understand the meaning of Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandas, Namandas.
Thank you, Linda. We will now have the offertory presentation. Please stand as we will conclude this service with singing of the Gatha Nembutsu. You may be seated. This concludes today's Autumn Ohigan service. Here are some announcements. Upcoming schedule of services, events, and reminders. Reverend Blaine sent a Konohongwanji weekly update email on September 22nd. Please check your email and be sure to read it for a schedule of upcoming services, useful information on a variety of issues, reminders and virtual links and flyers for a host of online Buddhist education events and seminars. Included also are important information on hurricane preparedness, information on suicide prevention workshops, and COVID vaccination information with links to many useful websites. Please also take the time to open and read the many attachments to his email. Please pay particular attention to the attachments related to our 125th anniversary celebration, which include September deadlines for submitting registration forms for the Time Capsule Project, Chigo Parade, and Affirmation Rites. Once again this year, Konohongwanji is participating in the Give Aloha program at Foodland and Sack and Save markets this month. Any donation made to Konohongwanji at preschool at checkout will be matched by Foodland and Western Union Foundation. Last day to do so is this Friday, September 30th. This program provides yet another way to support our temple, which is very much appreciated. The next hybrid Dharma family service will be held on Sunday, October 2nd at 10 o'clock a.m. Our temple will be zooming in on the Hawaii District service, which will be held at Honoka'a Hongwanji. Guest speaker will be Reverend Yuki Sugahara of Oregon Buddhist Temple. Watch together here at Konohongwanji, or you can zoom in online from your home by clicking on the Zoom link on the Nembutsu Seminar 2002 flyer attached to the Reverend Blaine's email. Should be 2022? Okay. Sorry, I just read the script. No. Reminders, free COVID test kits are still available in the conference room. 125th anniversary insulated grocery bags, cookbooks, clocks, and aprons are available for purchase. Okay, very important, regarding the 125th anniversary luncheon to be held on Sunday, October 16th, if you have not yet turned in your registration form or called the office, you may do so today. Lynn Katayama has prepared a form on which you can complete with your name and head count. It is on the table as you exit and will also be available in the conference room if you are staying for refreshments. Any other announcements?
Okay, first one, Chigo Parade, I guess, was announced, but yesterday, Friday was the deadline for registration for this, but I will be putting the order into Hompa on Wednesday. So if you haven't filled out your form, you may have told the office, but I need the form because I need to know what sizes to bring in. So it's not only that you're going to participate, we're going to have the children dressed in costumes. So I need to know that, and that's coming. I'm going to bring that back in with me on Saturday. So please, if you have not submitted your Chigo forms, please do so I can get an accurate count. The other announcement I have, and this is one of our BWA members, Kyodan members, who has just celebrated her 94th birthday just the other day. So Suga-san, everybody, wish her a happy birthday. Thank you.
Once again, mahalo to Reverend Al Urasaki for being our guest minister and speaker today. It's always good to see you and your family and to listen to your Dharma messages. Those of you on Zoom, you may stay on briefly if you wish to talk story with anyone. Otherwise, please tap or click on the Leave Meeting button on your screen. Those of you here in person, refreshments will be served in the conference room. Mahalo to Lynn Katayama and Lisa Siriaco for whipping up the delicious goodies. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please stay safe, and we hope to see you at next Sunday's Dharma Family Service. Thank you.